Felix and Tony Camacho Ada. Felix and Tony Camacho Ada. They're the right reason for a new season. Together we rise.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of On the Trail with Felix and Tony. I'm Felix Camacho, former governor of Guam and candidate for the upcoming 2022 gubernatorial election. Joining me every week and every moment on the trail of the 2022 campaign is my running mate, Senator Tony Ada.
Off a day.
Off a day. Welcome, Senator. And so we started this podcast at the beginning of our campaign leading up to the primary elections. And so now that we are past the primary, it's time to shift gears as we head into the general election. We want to invite everyone to join us, Republicans, Democrats, Independents. We welcome all. And we thank you for voting in the primary election, and we encourage everyone to vote in the general election on November 8th. It was a low voter turnout, 40% to be exact of the people came out. So that remaining 60%, you can't sit this one out. You've got to get out there, and you've got to engage, and you've got to participate, and you've got to vote. So come on.
Let your voices be heard.
Amen.
Well,
all right.
Gov, clearing the record. Absolutely nothing declared this time around, so we did good last time.
That's fantastic. Okay.
But this week on the trail, the recap of the week, and first and foremost was the primary election, post-primary. And so what was your take out there when you were going around?
It was a wonderful experience. Of course, we started the day early. We started off with going to Mass and just honoring the Lord. And then we hit the road. Of course, we went off to Muning. Well, actually, we had some breakfast, of course. And that was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
It sure was. We had to energize for the day. And then, of course, we started off in Muning. Did you go to Sinahanya first?
Yeah, I went to Sinahanya first. Annette and I, we cast our votes with the Maya, and from there we headed out. And I think you and First Lady did the same thing, right?
Yeah, but what was your route?
So we went from Sinahanya, and we took the eastern side of the island.
Eastern side, yeah.
Yeah, we started off Sinahanya, Aganya Heights, and then Manila, Chalampago Ward, and headed on down that way.
And ended up eating in Inarajan?
Inarajan. So we made it just in time for lunch in Inarajan, where we met you guys. Right. And it was really nice to see Auntie Chai down there and the family, and just so much. It was just great. She's
for me. As I went around, I tried to be courteous, and of course, when they offer food, I would eat a little bit here and there. But there's one that I really I struggled hard on. It was down in Agat, in Hagat Town, and I went to Mike's camp, and I think it was Sunny Conception who had made this big pot. It was oxtail adobo.
Wow.
And then they had another big pot it was patas baboy, pig's feet. And there was a whole bunch of other things, but I figured if I ate that on a plate of rice, I'd have a hard time staying awake as we went throughout the day. So I had to pull up some discipline and not indulge in it, but it was wonderful. So we went on the western side, and it was just wonderful stopping by every single camp and greeting as many people as we can in every camp. Mm-hmm. In our camp, in San Nicolas camp, and even Lou and Josh. Yeah.
And when we got to Humatak, Fred actually makes a great cup of coffee, man. I don't know if you had a cup of coffee down there, but
Fred Goffigan?
Fred Goffigan?
Oh, man. He didn't offer me one.
He made a nice fresh pot of coffee, and I said, he goes, hey, you guys want something? I said, well, I could get some coffee. And I said, wow, who made Fred? Fred made the coffee.
Right.
Yeah, so, I know where to go for coffee now.
Amazing. Well, I think that it was an exciting night as we rounded up all the camps, ended up in Jigo, mm-hmm. and then, of course, Dedido. And the wife was there waving and greeting all of us and helping all of our people. I had decided I was going to go back down to Tamuning and check on the family and everyone else that was over there by JFK. And, of course, after that, being able to get home, take a nice nice warm shower and freshen up and head on down to headquarters where we gathered with all our supporters.
Yeah, and waited for the results to start coming in. Election Commission was a little bit behind, but I guess they figured out the kinks, and then the votes started to roll in. So
yes,
On the live show?
yeah.
What did you guys think of the live show?
Oh.
The live show?
yeah,
That was something different.
Yeah, I think it was. Being able to get on the podcast live and not have media dictate to us what we wanted to talk about. It was our podcast. It was our message, and really appreciate all those Mr. Boo that was behind it and staff. So fantastic.
Yeah, they took a lot of It took a lot of their time to set everything up, get us ready for the podcast, and going live, and it was just great. I mean, live and recorded. It's basically the same thing. It's just our recorded versions go out a little bit later.
Yeah, and we look forward to doing the same in the general.
Oh, definitely. All right.
Well, one big thing this week, of course, was we had the Lincoln Day dinner that happens typically annually. But I understand, Senator, this is the first time in how many years that they've had it?
It's been a while, because of just different circumstances.
Yeah.
But this was actually later in the year. Lincoln Day dinner typically happens February.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But, February, September, we celebrated Lincoln dinner. So it was a great time for everyone to get together. What were your thoughts on it?
There was a lot of energy. There was a lot of excitement. There was a lot of happiness. I think people were so excited to be all together again, down at Dusitani. I believe we had over 56 tables, every single one of them full. It was overflow. The traffic getting in, I think that a lot of people had to turn away because they were not able to find adequate parking, and so had to leave the venue or not even attend the event.
Right.
But just excitement of everybody coming together from all the different village organizations and all the supporters of the Republican Party. But the added bonus was to have Sabrina Salas Matanani sitting with us that night. It was just absolutely incredible. And many of the supporters from the Mike San Nicolas and Sabrina's team come on board and join up with our village organization. So it was very festive. It was very happy. That's what I felt. People were so happy.
Yeah, they were.
And I understand that we have a video that was put together of that. And if we could play it, I think our audience would love to see it.
Oh, absolutely. Mr. Boo, do we have that video queued up?
All right. Let's
let's take a look.
take some time and listen to this.
I retired from politics, and I told Governor Felix I look up to him
Get the volume
because he
to
went
go up
8
a
years as a governor. You saw that. The island was in ruin, and slowly, one day at a time, he rebuilt the island. All those beautiful new schools, the police stations in the north and the south. Governor Felix and me had something in common. We both decided we got to focus on affordable housing. He rebuilt the island.
Ecclesiastes says, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good. For those who are called according to his purpose. Together, we answered that call. All of you did. We rolled up our sleeves and did honest work. I have seen our island in good seasons, and I have seen our island in bad seasons. As a man of faith, I will tell you that it is biblical that good times prevail under good leadership, and bad times prevail under bad leadership. In those 16 years under Republican conservative leadership, it didn't matter if you were in or out. For those who were willing to help, we worked together on solutions that took our island from a deep recession to prosperity, and we improved the quality of life for all our people. It is time for a great people again. It is time to answer the call to help our people. It is time for a new season. It is time for tomorrow.
what an amazing night. That was really a great night too.
Absolutely, it was.
Your speech was fabulous. I think a lot of people in the crowd had really took time to really listen to what you had to say, and the delivery of it and everything was just really on point. And we had everything in there. You spoke about just about a little bit of everything, and putting it into video now, it's just it's truly amazing. And I think that the people of Guam will truly see what Camacho Ada is about. They'll see what Governor Felix Camacho wants to bring back, great leadership to our island, and we're going to do that in this administration.
We're going to do it together.
Definitely, sir.
All right. I know that you attended the Graphic Center 30th anniversary celebration. Yes.
They celebrated 30 years, and it was really nice to see that they were all coming together. Bubba B played that night at Graphic Center. She's such a wonderful, wonderful lady. She goes, you know what? This is what it's about. We make the investments into our company so that we can continue to produce the quality of work that we do. And, it's great just to see our work out there. And I said, absolutely, we got to just ensure that, our island, the sustainability of our island continues to grow, right? And we're able to just get people in and, keep these jobs going. And with all the investments that she made in the company, and that's why when you see the quality of, look at our Lincoln Day dinner booklet, the quality of the products that are coming out is, excellent. You don't even have to import anything else anymore. Just get it printed right here right at Graphic Center.
So congratulations to Graphic Center on your 30th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Well,
we got, I don't know if you saw the media circulating all the photos of our dinner with the Congressman Mike San Nicolas. And what's your thoughts on that?
I can say we're extremely grateful and for the grace of God, that He brought us together. As you know, we're family, and we got together and talked as friends and family. Mm-hmm. We certainly did. We did talk a bit about the election and the electorate and the low voter turnout and such, but other than that, it was really a time to just get together and, for me to share also with my life experiences, going back to my father, Carlos Camacho, the former governor, the late governor of Guam, last appointed, first elected governor. And I remember the 1974 election where he eventually lost to Ricky Bordallo in a runoff. And as a sophomore in high school, the experience I felt and that loss was really hard on a young man, like that. I was about roughly 15 years old or so at that time, and it was very emotional. But I after that shortly moved on with life,
right?
And continued my studies. But that was my first loss of experience within the family. Eventually going on, and as we talked about going into politics, I was successful as a senator. But in 1998, I teamed up with former Governor Joseph Ada, and we lost that election to Carl and Madeline. And so that was a loss now on my side. Getting out of politics eventually in the 2016 election, I ran against Madeline Bordallo, of course, for a congressional seat and lost that. And so the seasons of life, you have your peaks, you have your valleys, and that's what we talked about. It's, life moves on, and how can we help each other moving forward?
Yeah.
And that's where we're at right now. And the picture circulated. It was meant to be sent to just one individual, but you know how things go.
Yeah,
it got out and it went viral, and of course media began to
speculate and talk about it, and
and ask for an answer. So the campaign team did issue a statement that was recorded, of course.
And then the media got a hold also of our photo with Ted Nelson Jr.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then they also got a hold of our a picture of us with Sabrina at our Lincoln dinner.
Right, right.
So they've been. I guess the media is keeping up now with what's going on our side of the political world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, the election begins, and we have a debate coming up on the 7th of September. It'll be a forum, rather, between the governor and myself, sponsored by the Guam Chamber of Commerce, and look forward to that.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going to be hearing what the community, what the business community actually, what questions do they have for yourself and the governor, and we'll see what's on their minds as well. Because when we go out into the community and we talk to the different businesses, always first on their mind is crime. Crime has always been a hot topic, and the economy.
Yeah. Also, there's always discussions about what's going on with government operations and the need for them to go into full scale operation, and provide the services that they request and need. Especially the regulatory agencies, permitting agencies, and the like. Now, can you share a bit about the legislative budget bill that you were engaged in for roughly 2 weeks or so, maybe a week and a half?
Almost about maybe 3 weeks.
3 weeks worth.
But finally the final budget was passed, and it's over $1 billion, and it's in my opinion. It looks like we're going to start out with a shortfall already, because the Section 30 funding that was appropriated in the budget bill was at 74.9 million or 70 something around there. But the letter that we got, the letter that was given by DOI, was saying that Guam will be getting 70.6 million. So already there's a shortfall.
Yeah. And
starting out on the wrong foot, unbalanced, it's it's going to be interesting.
All right.
And I think that as the year moves on, and we find ourselves in Adelup, it's a good thing we already have our sleeves rolled up, because all we're going to be doing is running after that.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit the ground running, and get our government in control, and put things into perspective, so that we don't see any more of the hardships placed on the backs of our people. A lot of businesses have come out and said that what are we doing? How is it that we can move forward? I mean, a lot of the concerns as well is when Department of Labor came out and talking about the labor, the unemployment rate going down. But when you look at the report, it was a lot of foreign workers that came in that built that up, and then Gov Guam also increased their
So Senator, I think it's a good transition into the topic of the day, which really we want to talk a bit about business and economy. Although understanding I'm going into a forum against the governor in a few days, so we can touch lightly on this and then move
very
on.
lightly.
Yeah. But, again, as you well know, our island, it faces unprecedented uncertainty with great fiscal, social, and economic challenges. And over the past 2.5 years, we have suffered through the longest and most severe economic downturn in our history. That's what we hear a lot about as we go about to the different businesses and talk to people on the streets, is how many have experienced the burden of lost jobs and lost opportunities. Many have lost their homes. They've lost hope. And so we need to really think about all the issues in front of us. And the choice before the people of Guam really that they're facing this November is that every voter will be asked to choose between the status quo, the status quo of rising crime and cost of living that is out of control, or our team, which is a team of proven and tested leadership, having served myself as 2 terms as governor and coming back. So we have a plan where every Guamanian who values freedom, who works hard, who has big dreams, they can achieve whatever they want to pursue. And so we have a lot ahead of us right now. I know that we need to look at our government and how it's restructured. Many of the issues that businesses have out there are the services that they're receiving from GovGuam. How can we improve the system? How can we simplify it? And that's been the task of most administrations is how do we streamline? How do we use technology?
Right.
How do we provide the services that our people need using modern technology, and perhaps even a reduction in the workforce that may not be all that necessary anymore, in how we can bring technology but provide the services that are needed, and then programs that are maybe not necessarily required, but they face many challenges. So we need to take a look at all the programs throughout the government of Guam.
And I think just one issue that is at everyone's radar is trying to get a driver's license. Something simple as a driver's license that, they have to be out of work for 3-4 hours just to stand in line to get a renewal. And if you want to make an appointment, it's 4 or 5 months out.
Exactly.
So, those are something that low-hanging fruit is something that we can actually work on and improve it immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately,
one program that we just had the privilege of enjoying was we went and saw GUMA, GUMA, and Support Local. We were just there at the Ganya Shopping Center with all the local vendors, right, out there. So there are examples of programs that do work, that benefit the people. And here we had all these young entrepreneurs that are using their craft and their skill to provide services and products for sale. What did you think about that? Because I saw you were going all around to every booth and just, I know you walked away with a couple of bags.
I sure did. And, I was telling Monica Guzman and Marvin Manabusan, this is really great what they're doing, helping entrepreneurs, right, with a leg up, getting them started and then watching them as they grow. I mean, these are businesses that are set up in their homes, and then they just bring them out and, do what they can out in the, whenever they have pop-ups or, different events. But imagine these are right there in that individual's home and wherever they stay. So they don't need a storefront. They don't need overhead costs. Everything is controlled and they're controlling it. And I even told Monica, I said, hey, Monica, this is actually one of the legs of our economy. When you think about it, when you continue to give the individuals the ability to grow and let them see where they would go from there, you give them that the tools that they need, the business plan, what it takes to start up and moving on. All those people there are proof that it is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And two, the products are made locally,
Yeah, so if we continue to cultivate the entrepreneurship and innovation for our locals, that's certainly part of building the economy. And typically in the United States, it is well known that the small businesses are the ones that combined provide the greatest number of jobs when you combine it all or cumulatively. So we need to continue to follow that model. And even beyond that, we really need to think. One of the things that I'm concerned about, and many are, as we visited, for example, Payless, and we talked to many people in leadership there in their respective roles, and the discussion was about food security and supply and demand, and how do we resolve those issues. So, of course, the rising inflation rate and the cost of food products. There are concerns globally about what's happening in some places of Europe, where the environmentalists have pushed this carbon neutral event and going electric. And now they're talking about going nitrogen neutral, and that is an absolute essential ingredient for what you need in fertilizers for the soil. So if you don't have the fertilizer that you can put into the soil and you can't produce the food that you normally would, you're beginning to see now produce and products are unavailable. If we look at the nation or the country of Australia, that I think is a real template to see that this new global reset and what the powers to be are trying to accomplish in the United States and worldwide globally is a real indication of what's happening. Interestingly, they are not allowing local farmers to sell to the local population. Everything has to go through a distribution route now, where it goes from the producer or the farmer to a wholesaler, who then gets it onto the retail and onto the shelves. The problem being that it now means the entire system of from ground to the shelf is controlled by a certain entity, and when they have a monopoly and a control over that, and people can't even buy from their local farmer, then they're in trouble. So we need to begin to see what's happened in America. The farmlands that have been bought up by foreign entities and other individuals, very wealthy individuals, where there is water, where there is fertile soil, there's going to be a real battle for the production of food. And so on Guam, I believe we really need to begin to take a look at food security in getting farmers and getting even commercial grade. Yes, we continue to support the individual homeowner that has something they're growing in their backyard, and to small and medium scale, but we need to begin to think about large scale commercial agricultural and also produce farmers on Guam, so that we can provide as much as possible for our local population. And then also team up with Rota, with Tinian, with Saipan, throughout the Marianas and throughout Micronesia. So we're thinking about things like that.
Yeah, that's a great way to go, because we just don't know what the future holds for, on produce and, food security. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
and Tony, we talk about a lot of the suffering out there, as I've mentioned, but one other group that we come across a lot are the individuals that are working, the mom and dad that are working one, maybe two jobs, but both husband and wife are working. They're considered middle class and have not been able to qualify for many of the benefits and the monies that have been given out by the government, federal dollars. And so they're hurting, and they're saying, we're the ones that have fallen between the cracks, and you've got to help them. So we need to lift our brothers and sisters who are struggling, those in the middle class, and future generations that need to inherit a legacy of growth and prosperity that I think we can all be proud of. So that's what we're looking at. Well, now that we've talked about the topic of the day, business and economy, why don't we jump off into questions from social media?
Sure, absolutely. Do we have questions from social media?
Yes, we do. And speaking of economy, we got a question in from Gerald Gichchut. His question is there anything that can be done to address the high shipping costs?
Well, shipping, of course, there've been delays at the ports. There have been transportation issues within the United States coming from all distribution points into the ports of entry and for export into places like Guam. So delays have happened, as we well know. It's been well publicized about that. But fuel costs have risen also, and we're well aware of that. So that has affected it. I had discussions with both individuals from Matson and also APL, the two primary shippers here, and they operate under different licenses. As you know, there's the Jones Act, and Matson, being a shipping company based out of Hawaii and the West Coast, out of Oakland, they primarily have small to medium-sized ships that are made or U.S. hauled, so they're manufactured in shipyards in, say, Philadelphia, and they're U.S. flagged, and they're always also U.S. crewed. The crew members are U.S. citizens, and so because of that, Matson has access to markets that are unique to themselves. Markets within the United States, and with the cabotage laws, they're able to bring in from the West Coast through Hawaii and into Guam. On the other end, you have APL that is operating under an MSP license. It's a military support program, and under that shipping program, they also have other programs. But I feel that there is some subsidy that is available to them. We need to find ways that we can pursue an exemption, even temporary, to the Jones Act, because if we can get goods from foreign hauled ships from other markets throughout Asia, even looking at Central and South America, to bring produce into Guam, using they may come from the U.S., they may come from elsewhere, but that's one way of doing it. Access to other markets where the shipping costs are reduced and the distances are so much less. So the shipping costs, the fuel costs are so much greater, or so much less. Another example is, and I know the environmentalists would not be happy with this, but there's always been consideration of dredging and deepening our harbor at APRA to allow for larger vessels, expanding the ports and so that they would be able to have larger ships come in. On economies of scale, if you're able to bring in larger ships with greater volume, then we can would allow for a reduction in the cost of goods. There's so many other areas of concern, of course, that we can look at, but you have to recognize that when ships are coming into Guam with their 20-foot or 40-foot equivalent containers full of merchandise from the United States or coming in from Asia, they come in full, but they leave empty.
Right.
So they would then load up with empty containers and take it to another port, which would then be used for the global market and shipped going into China, eventually out to the United States. So the cost of the shippers, both Matson and APL, are front-loaded. They need to make their money on the containers they're bringing in on the front end, because on the back end is where they leave. If only Guam could come up with, and this is another thing we need to take a look at, if we could somehow create industry that would assemble or produce something for export into another market, into Asia, for example, with Made in Guam, USA, that would be very attractive. So now the costs can also be shared with goods going out.
Right.
And the shipping companies can then make some money by exporting out of Guam. So we do need to look at the front end costs and the back end costs and work with them, but also with local industry on what can we do? What can we produce out of Guam for export?
Yeah. Didn't you say at one time that Guam used to manufacture watches?
There was a garment manufacturing way back, and also watches that were made on Guam. But of course, lobbyists and other members of Congress struck it down.
Yeah.
And so we do need someone fighting for us hard in Washington.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're looking forward to that.
We get Jim Moylan in there. He'll be able to, lobby for that and get,
Absolutely.
so we can get that back out here. I mean, CNMI used to have the garment factory for the longest time, many years.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, my sister Carmen used to be a manager for one of the garment factories up there. They were producing clothing for Gap and, different name brands. But it was really amazing to see how they were getting the products made up there in the CNMI and then shipping them back out. And then you go up to, you go to Target or somewhere, you go to Gap in Minnesota and you see made in the CNMI. I mean, it was really nice to see way back then. And so hopefully, something like that can be revisited and see what we can do to
absolutely
do that also for our economy again, once again.
Yes, absolutely. Any other questions?
Yes, from Zach Casita. What books and authors have most influenced your views on politics and governance?
Oh, it's interesting, but I'd have to say the Bible. I'm a student of the Bible, and leadership lessons are you would find it all throughout.
Oh, yeah.
All throughout the Bible, you'd find many of these lessons from leaders there. But there was one book I read, I'd say 20 years ago, and it was called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. And
I think I still have that book.
is it on the shelf? Any dust on it?
It's I dust it off every once in a
Time
while.
to dust it off and open that up. But yeah, that was one book I felt that had a lot of value to me. There are others that I'm reading right now, and I think also audiobooks. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
And I think one of them that's pretty cool is Joe Rogan.
Oh, nice.
He's a bit rough around the edges, but the people they bring in. Lance Wallnau is another guy, like Mario Murillo. I mean, there's so many of them out there that I like to listen to. Kent Christmas, you know it.
Yeah, I read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Leaders by Stephen
Very
Covey.
good one.
very good reading, and perhaps it's a good recommendation to read. And the podcast that I listened to was Master Random.
Hey,
That's a great
With
podcast.
Mr. Boo.
The episode that I was really there's a couple of episodes there that he did with former Governor Calvo, but the one episode that I really like, and for animal lovers that want to hear a very touching story of a life partner, and that was his dog Kona, who he brought back from the States with him after he graduated college, and Kona was a part of our lives for many years until just last year when Kona succumbed to his illnesses. But you got to really listen to the podcast on how my grandson came into the world and Kona left the world. It's so touching how Kona he knew my daughter-in-law was pregnant, and it seemed like he just wanted to stay until Ryan came.
Wow.
So, when they moved in, they were renovating their house, and they moved into their house. Kona was still holding on, and then we thought that when she gave birth, then Kona would, no.
Yeah.
It's when she brought him home, and Kona licked his feet. Then that's when he felt his duties were fulfilled, that he stayed and waited till our little boy came home, and that's when he decided to all dogs go to heaven. But a really, really wonderful episode to listen to. It's on Master Random. I'm not sure what episode that is, Mr. Boo.
I'm not sure. It's an audio obituary.
It's on audio obituary.
I'll look for it.
Yeah,
Thank
look
you.
at it and listen to it. It's really great.
Oh, thank you for sharing that heartfelt story and podcast. And well, this should wrap things up. And would you mind just letting us know what's going on with the?
Absolutely. Once again, we ask you to please get your voices heard. And if you're not registered to vote but would like to for the general elections, voter registration is now open. There are several ways to get registered. You can go online to gec.guam.gov/register, or go visit the Guam Election Commission in the Oka building in Tamuning, or call our HQ at 671-475-2222, and we can probably get a registrar out to your workplace. If you have employees that are not registered and would like to register, we can do that for you. And or if you want to register yourself, we'll be able to register you as well. You can ask questions through our social media at Camacho Ada for Guam. Engage with us on the trail by asking us questions through any of our social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Your questions can be sent to us in text, audio, or video. We haven't had an audio or video message yet, huh? I would like to look forward to seeing that. We look forward to engaging with you in the digital space and answering your questions on the show. Join us for upcoming events this week. We got the Chamber of Commerce Gubernatorial Forum on Wednesday, September 7th at the Hilton, and it begins at what time, sir?
It begins at I believe 11:30.
11:30
sharp.
right? Yeah, there we go. And it's going to be in the Micronesia Ballroom, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got this weekend is Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day.
So when you guys go out to Labor Day, enjoy yourselves, have fun, be safe, don't drink and drive.
Down at Ipao Beach.
Down at Ipao Beach. And
Also known as the Joseph Flores Memorial Park.
there we go.
Yes.
And then the Salvation Army Lighthouse Recovery Center open house is on Thursday. And
That's wonderful. I know they have new leadership there that we had the privilege of meeting. So
yeah, definitely.
go see them.
We hope that you continue to join us on the trail. It's an exciting time for both of us and our Camacho Ada team. So with that,
So again, we thank you very much for the time, and we look forward to next episode with Felix and
Tony,
thank you. Jesus Masi.
everybody have a good day. God bless.
A little long. Sorry.
Felix and Tony,
Camacho Ada,
Felix and Tony,
Camacho Ada.
they're the right reason for a